Alright, closet grow update. Got a new light. It's a 45-watt grow light. It has some pretty good surface area that it covers. I'm gonna turn this light on and unplug it. Hopefully I can do it with one hand. I can't. Hold on. Alright. Got that unplugged. It's been really hot in here, so the super hot peppers have been struggling a little bit. Same with the basil. I'll put this tall one outside because I need more room, and this one's all the way in the corner, so I'll leave it be. I'm starting some seeds. You might not see them that well. Some chard, kale, spinach, and I'll have those in the back, and here in the front I'll have some oregano, cilantro, and parsley. And here, this is going to go in my new system. It's my constant flow system that I have above a 40-gallon breeder tank that I got 6 tilapia in right now. Some lettuce, chives, chard, kale, and spinach. And once those sprout, I'll stick them in the 2-inch net pots that I got. I'll show you that in a minute. This mint was not doing all that great. I was just like hand watering it once a day. Obviously that wasn't enough, so I turned the pipe up, and now that fish tank flows directly into it, and it's looking a lot better. So since it's so hot, I think the plants haven't been absorbing all the nitrates. So the nitrates were 60 parts per million. So I've gone from feeding the fish once a day to every other day. But they're happy, they're doing just fine. And so now that I got this update, it's starting to cool off, so I think the plants will bounce back and they'll start absorbing those nitrates better. So now that I got you updated on the closet, I'm going to show you the new system that I can start getting stuff prepared for every week. So let's go check that out. Alright, this is the brand new system. It's here in the bedroom. I know it looks ugly, but I went for function instead of beauty. There's some of the fish. Got 6 of them in there. I don't know if I got boys or girls, but they're smaller. They're on the smaller side, which I think is a good thing. It's August. I don't want them to grow very fast. The water's room temperature. I just want to figure out boy and girl, so I'm hoping that once I get the right ratio of 1 boy and 5 girls, then I can hopefully turn the water temperature up around December, January, and start trying to breed them. So the water goes out of the tank down into a canister filter that I made out of a bucket. It's got lava rock in it, some filter material to get the solids out, and then some beneath that polyester filling to get the smaller stuff, and then the lava rocks. And then it's pumped back to the aquarium, and see that little pipe, it pumps back to the aquarium, and then it also pumps up to the constant flow system. So right now I have some romaine lettuce in here. You may or may not be able to see it all that great. Yeah, there you go. The one on the end's done fell over, but I'm gonna give it a chance. Maybe it'll have a comeback. Here's some air hose. I got an air stone down in the water to help oxygenate the water at the beginning, and then a spot here at the last pipe. So it runs down there, comes back, and then runs down this way. Guess I'll show you the light. 45-watt grow light. This reflective material is an emergency blanket from Wally World. It's two of them. It's reflective on both sides. So I basically made like a little grow tent. These are 2-inch net pots. I got the water height set to where it's touching just the bottom of the net pot. And this is like a little neoprene clone holder. It just, you know, if you got clones, you can hold them in place. Like I got the romaine lettuce over there. They seem to be doing pretty good. I've only had this system set up about 3 days now. So hopefully with the grow light, I'll start seeing some growth on those. Down on this end is the standpipe. This tape keeps grabbing the blanket. The standpipe, if there's a lot of water flowing through the system, this standpipe will make a ton of gurgling noise. So right now I got it basically to a trickle. Let's see if I can light it up for you there. And so the less water that goes down this standpipe, the more quiet it is to operate. And so these cups are basically like a silencer. It helps a little bit, not a lot. And then so as the water's going down the standpipe, it makes a whole bunch of noise. And so if I open up the valve that takes the water directly to the tank, majority of the water goes back to the tank and it doesn't make a whole bunch of noise. And the number one thing is wife acceptance factor. The more noise this thing makes, the less likely my wife is to accept it. So hopefully with all the air stones, and when I turn it up, the water, I'll turn it up real quick. The water slapping against the surface of the water in the tank, the aquarium will create more bubbles and oxygen. So I'll close the one going to the aquarium, and that'll increase the flow going to the constant flow system. So that's with it about halfway open. And now I'll close the one to go into the aquarium all the way, just to show you how loud this thing can be. So anyways, there's how loud it could be. So now I'm gonna close the valve. Well, open it, I mean. There. I think I'll open it all the way, because right now those plants are just getting started, so they're not really doing a whole lot. So I don't think they need a lot of water flow anyways. Okay, well, this is the newest system. Hopefully I'll have some success at breeding fish and growing plants together. So now I'm going to show you the outdoor system. Alrighty, this is everything we got going on in the backyard. Got some cucumbers in a bucket. A couple of them on here, a little curly one and a, you know, kind of bigger one. Some couple tomatoes, 2 moringa, got a bean plant, jalapenos. I don't know what kind of pepper that is yet, but it came out of the grow bed it wasn't growing all that great, just like the rest of these peppers that have been out here for months that I'm about to show you. But it started off about the size of this pepper plant, and so about 2 weeks ago I put it in here, and this is what it's done. It's already got some flowers on it, so interested to know what kind that is. Have no idea what most of these peppers, any of these peppers are, except for the jalapeno. These weren't growing, but now they're starting to show some signs of life, so we'll see what they do. Got a couple of watermelons here, starting to throw some runners there. This is my tomato plant that came out of the closet. It was 7 feet tall, and then when I brought it out here, the entire thing died, except for one limb. And off of that limb, 2 other limbs started growing. And now the plant has grown around the dead part, and on top of that, the stalk split. But it's healed up, and so now it's turned into a whole big old plant again, and it's even got some cherry tomatoes on it. So it's doing pretty good. Got several flowers and tomatoes starting to bloom and grow. Over here in this grow bed, I've done, basil's pretty easy, so I've always done pretty good with basil. And I put this basil out here at the same time I put this tiny basil out here. And this one grew, and this one's just now starting to grow after about, I don't know, a month. The celery's been out here a long time, probably a month or two. I guess it's a little too hot for it, but what's green is really green thanks to the nutrients that I put in there. Every 3 weeks I put in a nutrient pack. It's got potassium and iron and all the other stuff that plants need that the fish don't provide. This tiny pepper plant, it's starting to show signs of life, finally, after like 2 months. This pepper plant, it's a super hot. It could be a Carolina Reaper or a Chocolate Ghost or a Trinidad Scorpion Chocolate Cappuccino. Which Trinidad Scorpion Chocolate Cappuccino is my favorite. It's really good until it kills you. But so it's adjusted well to the full-time sun. It's been out here, I guess, about a week now, maybe 2. And so it's starting to grow again. And so far, with just the 2 grow beds and the amount of fish and the size of the fish, I guess I have about 60 fish plus 6 goldfish in the system. I just tested the water, and the nitrates are around 30-40 parts per million, so relatively low. The tomato, I mean, I'm always having to open up the pipes to pull out roots that the tomato plant keeps putting down in there. I don't pull on them or anything like that. They just basically come out on their own. Once I open the pipe, they just fall out. Sometimes, the first time it was like 10 feet long and really thick and really white, so that tomato plant is doing really good. So here in a garbage can, I got some duckweed growing. A couple days ago I got as much of it out as I could to feed to the fish, and here we are 2 days later, and it's almost completely covered the surface of the water. So duckweed, man, that's a staple in their diet, so it's great that it grows so fast. This is the swirl filter. I got it covered up to keep the algae from growing. This this little outlet that I have here, I was hoping that it would clean out the bottom of the swirl filter, clean all the fish poop and the other solids out, but it just doesn't work that way. It has to be a funnel at the bottom to where all the solids concentrate towards the pipe. So it would work better if I had a funnel at the bottom that, or a funnel shape, cone shape, that concentrated all the solids towards the middle of the bottom of the tank, and have an outlet coming out from underneath the tank. So the next time I build one, I'm gonna try to get that going. But what I do is I take a gravel vacuum for like an aquarium, and I siphon the solids out into a bucket like that. Works just fine. You know, as long as you're getting it out there, you know, that's okay. So I got about a gallon's worth out when the water started being clear again in the hose, and I got all the solids off of the bottom. I filled up about a 5-gallon bucket completely, just nothing but solids, dirtiest water I've ever seen. And so I distributed that between 8 plants growing in the buckets next to the grow beds over there. So hopefully I'll start seeing some pretty good growth out of those. These are the 2 sump tanks. It's 55-gallon barrels side by side. I got them covered up also to keep the algae at a minimum. The siphon, the external use siphon, is working very good. It starts and stops like it's supposed to. Before, I had a hose connected to the bridge here that had a tube that ran all the way to the venturi, and what I was doing with that was I thought it was helping the siphon start and stop quicker. But what was happening recently was it was not, after the grow beds finished draining, the air didn't start back up anymore. So I guess it got too clogged up or something. So I just cut it off, and it's not very loud. Here, let me get you. Not very loud. And another issue I was having with the venturi being connected to the external use siphon was every time the grow beds drain, which is like every 60 seconds. Well, not every 60 seconds. Basically, it takes about 60 seconds for the grow beds to fill up, and then about 3 minutes for them to drain. So that's only 60 seconds of aeration to the water. And so as hot as it's been, or any time, I don't think that's enough. You know, you need as much as possible. So 60 seconds out of every 4 minutes is just not going to cut it. So we got that going. So now the venturi is going full time, and the pump, it's 625 gallons per hour. I think that's a lot for 2 grow beds, so that's why it takes so long to drain. Actually, that's why it fills up the grow beds so quickly. And then, well, I say 3 minutes. I think it just took it like 2 minutes, maybe 1, to drain. But anyways, this video is getting longer and longer. But if I was gonna do anything different, since I have 2 grow beds, first I would make the pipe from 1-inch to 2-inch pipe so that it would drain much faster, and that would even out the amount of time it takes to fill up versus drain. But then on top of that, I would probably reduce the amount of gallons per hour going to the tank. Probably put a valve on the outlet pipe. But then that would also slow down the venturi effect. So I would have to put in some type of air stones or aeration for the fish. So it's just one of those things, you know, if you do one thing, you got to do another. It's all about balance. But right now, everything's growing. Fish are eating. I don't see them gasping for air at the top of the water, so they must be all right. Some of them are pretty big. You can't really see them all that well because of the color of the water. you know, I can only see, oh, got a nibble. I can only see like as far down as, I'd say about 4 inches. But I wish I could get them to come up here and get you a view of them, but can't always get what you want. The goldfish are real easy to see because they're red colored or orange. But anyways, there are some tilapia in there that are pretty darn big compared to when they went in there. Eventually I'll have an update, show off the fish. This compost pile I got started yesterday. Put up the fence, got some yard clippings on the bottom, had a bucket of a bunch of wasted beans and whatnot, leftovers, like a 5-gallon bucket full, dumped it right in the middle and put hay on the top. So hopefully that'll get us going for next year. That'll be nice. So this is the backyard system, and I've showed you the closet where it all started. Then I came out here and got this going. It's doing pretty good. It's nice and established. And now right inside that window there, it's my bedroom. Now I have the third system set up. So going all out, you know, why not? You know, I guess it's kind of this hobby, it's kind of addictive. Can't have just one system, I guess, unless it's a really big system. Takes all day to keep up with. Well, anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know this was a long video, but I haven't done an update in like 3 months, so this is 3 months worth of updates all in one. So thanks for watching.